So last week I made a reaction to Paul Kelly and his song How to Make Gravy. Really enjoyed it. It was a really interesting song, especially for it being a Christmas song. Kind of sang and written in the perspective of somebody who's in prison, but in the wider context it was about missing family at this special time of year at Christmas time. And a lot of people in the comments told me more about Paul Kelly, told me he's one of the best songwriters in Australia ever, and asking me to check out more of his stuff, and that's definitely what I want to do. I want to find out more just because he sounds like a very interesting performer and writer. And a lot of people asked me to check this one out. This is Paul Kelly from Little Things Big Things Grow, and people told me this is about the sort of Aboriginal history of Australia, which is another subject I'm very interested about. I'm going to be doing a reaction later this week about some Aboriginal people in Australia currently, just to find out more about that side of Australia and the history of Aboriginal people. So really interested to hear this one. Let's check it out and yeah, see how it goes. Like harmonica.
Gather round people, I'll tell you a story, an 8-year-long story of power and pride. British Lord Vestey and Vincent Lingiari were opposite men on opposite sides.
Okay, let me just check. He mentioned two names there. I just want to Google it and see who these are, just so I can get a better understanding of the context of these people. So British Lord Vestey here is Samuel George Armstrong Vestey, who was a British peer, landowner and businessman. Vincent Lingiari was an Australian Aboriginal rights activist and member of the Gurindji people, so he was like maybe an Aboriginal person. So this is talking about probably two people on opposing sides, this British landowner and an Aboriginal rights activist.
Vestey was fat, money and muscle, beef was his business, broad was his door. Vincent was lean and spoke very little. He had no bank balance, hard dirt was his floor. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow.
Some initial thoughts on the song, really enjoying it. Paul Kelly, yeah, so far there's only been I think 2 verses and every word has meant something. It's really painting a picture of this time with these two characters who are obviously real people, talking about the situation of this Aboriginal people. Really enjoying it. The music itself is great, that harmonica there, but just it's like that very chilled guitar playing, but you can tell this is a song with a real message. And yeah, Paul Kelly with his delivery and the authenticity in his voice is great to hear.
The Gurindji were working for nothing but rations, but once they had gathered the wealth of the land, daily the pressure got tighter and tighter. Gurindji decided they must make a stand. They picked up their swags and started off walking at Waddy Creek. They sat themselves down. Now it don't sound like much, but it sure got tongues talking back at the homestead and then in the town. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow.
Okay, again, man, this like that's what people told me about him, is he's one of the best storytellers, and you can tell because this one he's not even like singing this with a lot of like high range and going all over the place like with his voice. He's really letting the focus of this song be on the words, and the picture that he's painting of this time and this situation is so vivid. Putting yourself in that position of the Aboriginal people, and the chorus, this from Little Things Big Things Grow, very simple but it's very effective too. Like it says with those 6 words, it really says everything about this situation, about an idea growing.
vesting man said, I'll double your wages, 18 quid a week, you'll have in your hand. Vincent said, we're not talking about wages, we're sitting right here till we get our land. Vesting man roared, vesting man thundered, you don't stand a chance of a cinder and snow. Vince said if we fall, others are rising from little things, big things grow.
This is extremely powerful, this song.
Little things, big things grow.
You can really see the Aboriginal people are fighting for what they believe, not just money.
Vince in Lingyari boarded an airplane and landed in Sydney, big city of lights. And daily he went round softly speaking his story to all kinds of men from all walks of life. And Vincent sat down with big politicians. This affair, they told him, it's a matter of state. Let us sort it out. Why, your people are hungry. Vincent said, no thanks, we know how to wait. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow. Then Vincent Lingyari returned in an airplane back to his country once more to sit down. And he told his people, let the stars keep on turning. We have friends in the south, in the cities and towns. 8 years went by, 8 long years of waiting, till one day a tall stranger appeared in the land. And he came with lawyers, and he came with great ceremony, and through Vincent's fingers poured a handful of sand. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow.
Okay, just before I think the harmonica is going to come in, I really love the way that harmonica comes in after the chorus. It's like a really beautiful thing, but what he's actually doing here with his writing is he's like literally painting a picture, man. Like I can really envisage what he's actually singing about as if it's like a movie or as if I'm watching a documentary or something. I can really see him making this journey to Sydney and coming back and everything that he's going through. Like it's really interesting because a lot of songs, you know, like the singer, as I mentioned earlier, kind of focus on their voice and making that the star of the song and giving it the power and the kind of the reach of the voice and stuff like that. This one, it's almost like Paul Kelly is not putting himself first. He's like stepping back and just like letting the story be the most important thing, which I love, man. It's very selfless from Paul Kelly in this performance. Although his voice is great to listen to, you really hear that authenticity, that realness in his voice. He's just like letting the story speak for itself. I love that harmonica.
Well, that was the story of Vincent Lingyari, but this is the story of something much more. How power and privilege can unmove a people who know where they stand in the law. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow. From little things.
That's what this song is really all about. People power.
Little things, big things grow.
When people believe in something and they stick to their guns, they can achieve things.
Big things grow. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow.
See those voices coming in the background there as well. Wow. That is haunting but beautiful. Whoa, where did that come from, man? This is the power. Whoa. Even got the harmonica in there as well. This is the inspirational part for the people. Oh, didgeridoo there as well? Whoa. What that's the cherry on the top of this whole song, man, to hear the didgeridoo there as well. That was fantastic, man, yes. Okay, so I've reacted to different Australian singers before. This again, Paul Kelly, is very different. This one was just another level because this was actually explaining such an important situation involving real people, telling a real story of these people's struggle against these rich, privileged British people, landowners, things like that, who are trying to force them out. But it was a story of strength, man. They like stuck to their guns. He stuck to his guns. What he believed in, man, he fought for that and he won. And this must be such an inspirational song to people who are like of Aboriginal origin, and even just Australian people in general. It's like shows that Australian like fighting spirit and just strong spirit. So I love this. Like as I said, people told me about his storytelling, but he really painted such a vivid picture, transported me there. I could literally see everything. And that's the sign of an amazing story writer, man. So tell me what you think about this one. I'm going to be doing another Aboriginal reaction later this week. Recommend some more and tell me what you think about this. Yeah, thanks.